Hey, Fran fam. Welcome to Life and Style with Francine. I am your host, Francine Walker. If you have watched the wildly popular Project Runway, you're probably going to recognize my next guest. She is the first Project 14, I'm sorry, let me say that again. She is the season 14 Project Runway winner with the first plus size fashion line ever. And in case you didn't recognize her, please join me in welcoming Ashley Nell Tipton to the show. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Francine. How are you?
I am fine, beautiful. Wow. It
It's
you
a
know,
mouthful.
it is a mouthful, but it's an accomplishment. It's a huge accomplishment. So it being a mouthful is kind of like expected. And we were just talking, that was 5 years ago.
Yes, it's 5 years ago. Actually, next week will be 5 years exactly that the world found out that I won Project Runway. I actually won 3 months in advance before everyone had found out. So I got to celebrate it at that moment and then have
Sure.
to be quiet for 3 months before the whole world found out. But it was pretty
Ah,
excited to like keep it in, but I knew what was gonna happen.
because how does that work, Ashley? Do you tape beforehand, and then it you hold it for that 3 months? How long in advance did you tape the show?
Every season is a little bit different, but they normally always film in the summer. So we go out there for 3 months and we film. And our season in particular, it started airing once we went home. So we were probably home for a couple of weeks and then it started air like maybe home for a week and it started airing. And as it was airing, I was working on my final collection. So going to preview parties and then having to come back home to work on my collection, but not tell
Yeah.
anybody that I'm going to Fashion Week. And everybody wanting to see me and like, wait, you're on this show? What's going on? So it's really, really weird because you kind of have to live two lives and you have to keep this huge secret that you're
Sure.
holding in. So it's a lot to do. And you're home for 6 weeks to create that collection. And then you go back and you film the finale and going down the runway and everything.
Yeah. Speaking of the
Excuse
runway,
me.
there's something very special about that runway, as in New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
How
It
did that
is
feel?
we when being at New York Fashion Week and walking down the runway before everyone was there and seeing the huge Project Runway logo at the end of the runway, it was so surreal. I started crying because I felt like this is something that I've always seen on TV. And as a designer, I've always dreamt of being at New York Fashion Week, but never visually saw myself there. And so to be there, it was such a surreal moment that all I had was adrenaline pumping me up. And it kind of happened so fast that I wish I could go through it because I remember being there and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. Like, I'm trying to keep calm and keep cool. And I'm trying not to cry and I'm
Yeah.
trying not to stress out. But it's just, yeah, the only thing that kept me calm and cool was my adrenaline just being pumped up.
Now, who were some of your earlier influences growing up? How did you come to sew, design? How did that come to be?
My grandmother was a huge influence in me wanting to learn how to sew. She was always that person who I would spend all my time with as a kid. And she would always teach me new arts and crafts project. If it was, making things out of using recycled bottles, or making Christmas ornaments, or making clothes for my Barbie. My grandmother would teach me all sorts of things. And that was how we spent our quality time together. And when I started growing up, I realized that there wasn't enough clothing for plus size women, teens like me. And I really felt like I didn't want to keep living this life of settling in disappointment. I felt like my clothes was a reflection of who I am, and my personality. And I think not having that availability of clothing inspired me to want to put my knowledge of knowing how to sew and my love for fashion. It was kind of this genuine thing. It wasn't just like one person who inspired me. It was the fact that
Yeah.
there was no clothing out there for us that inspired me. I loved looking through was it 17 magazine and
Yes.
seeing all the trends and all the fashion and looking at Vogue. And I mean, my sister, who was 10 years older than me, and my mom, they were huge influencers for fashion and how they like to do their hair and their makeup and their clothes and their accessories. Like, I loved all that. But as a kid who was plus size, none of that was available for me. So it's like I never really got to try until I got old enough to be able to make my own clothes or buy my own things, that I really experimented with fashion that wasn't around for plus size women.
Sure. So you're going through the Project Runway process. What was challenging about the show? Um, how did it affect you?
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure there was a tremendous, of course, we know it's highly competitive.
Yeah.
So that adds a component of pressure.
Yeah. And I was also dealing in grief. I had lost my grandmother months before that. So
Yeah, I'm sorry.
my grandmother had passed away. And 3 days after she passed away, I received an email to apply for Project Runway. So I kind of felt like this was my sign of like, do it, Ashley. You have nothing to lose. Like, there is
Sure.
nowhere else you're supposed to be on this world. And if you're supposed to be on that show, you're supposed to be on that show. So
Sure.
that was kind of where my head was going on to Project Runway. Like, you have to give it your all, because I will be honest, I've said this a few times. I never wanted to become famous from being on Project Runway. I wanted to be known for my designs and for who I design for. And so Project Runway and me being on there was just kind of this thing that I was like, I can't fight it anymore. Like, if this
Yeah.
is the opportunity that's being given to me, let's take this opportunity and don't judge it for what you think it is. So going on there, I really felt like if you're a true designer, this is designer boot camp. And if you can hang, you can hang. And
Yeah.
if you can't, then you're going to fall. And basically, it's just like RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, they're going to put you in all these different challenges to make sure that you know what type of designer you are. Because if you don't know, you're going to struggle finding it on the show.
Sure.
And so for me, I always knew that I was this plus size designer, but I was always challenged, in in college I was always challenged with straight sizes, meaning like a size 6, a size 8, runway sizes, or size 2. That's what it's transitions into. But I was always designing for that, and I always loved designing for plus size bodies because the market, there was nothing yet. And
Yeah.
so for me to be put into straight sizes really pushed my boundaries in designing, and not just thinking about a plus size body. It's now thinking about, okay, the straight size body, how can I show them? How can I translate that I'm still a plus size designer and I'm good at what I do. So how I showed that was really trying to pick the right models that were going to complement the garment that I was presenting. So a lot of the models that I was using on Project Runway were Black models because I wanted the fashion to be shown on them and I wanted to complement their skin tones with the colors that I was designing with. So it was really just being able to use the materials that are in front of you to show what type of designer you are.
Sure. Now, you also, 'cause when I got the opportunity, I said, I'm still trying to learn how to sew, but it's like,
Mhm.
she has patterns.
Yes, yes.
Now, did that your simplicity patterns come as a result of Project Runway?
It was completely it wasn't part of one of the deals of winning Project Runway. So I actually got contacted by Simplicity to
Nice.
do a collection for them because they already had a licensing deal with Project Runway. It only felt right for them to take
Yeah,
someone from Project Runway and help them bring more plus size patterns to Simplicity. Because Simplicity has their own section of plus size patterns, but it's not, a lot of it wasn't fashion forward. And I
yeah,
wanted to create garments that were fashion forward, but also allowed you to be the designer and
yeah,
get multiple garments out of one pattern. I am a MacGyver. I love figuring stuff out. So
yeah,
if I can make you a pattern that can create you 5 different outfits, I'm here for it because I took a skater skirt and turned my skater skirt into my whole wardrobe when I was younger and couldn't afford to buy clothes. I can only
yeah,
afford to buy the fabric and just make clothes for myself. And I had a wardrobe, and people would ask me where I would get my clothes. And I say, I make it because I
yeah.
can't find it.
And I follow a lot of bloggers, like Mimi G,
Mm-hmm.
um, and Erica Beauty Jador, you know, where they do a lot a lot of the sewing bloggers do a lot of pattern hacking.
Yes.
And it's like,
I know, I know. It's a whole different language, a whole different field.
yeah,
But the thing is, you're trying to fit these pattern pieces together. So,
yeah,
whatever hacking you do to one pattern piece, you got to make sure you follow it and copy it onto your next piece. But it's it's all about figuring it out. And once you know how to make a pattern and how a shoulder or an armhole should be, then it's a whole different language that you will start to understand and be able to make different things with it. It's
yeah,
beautiful. Like my pattern book is my Bible, I say, because like
yeah,
you it tells you everything, how to make everything, how to make it in a bigger size, smaller. I wish I had it with me on Project Runway,
yeah.
but I did it. It was all in here.
You know, you sound still very passionate when you talk about sewing, designing,
Yeah.
creating, inventing, trailblazing, basically, creating fashion forward um, patterns and fashion forward designs for plus size models um,
Mhm.
and ordinary people. However, I know that from doing my research, there was a
Yes.
sadness. Aside from your passion, there was a
Yeah.
sadness you felt. Talk about that.
The sadness was not being able to enjoy my surroundings and everything that was happening. Everything that was happening was everything that I wanted,
Sure.
but I had this guilt in my in me. I felt like I wasn't making everyone happy. I felt like I was just disappointing people, or people were expecting me to do certain things, and because my life had changed, I could no longer be there. Um, Dealing with not being okay with my body, because I realized how much my body stopped me from doing a lot of things and traveling, and my body brought a lot of anxiety to me to go walk into a room or to go somewhere by myself. So there was just a lot of things that I built anxiety around and
Sure.
fears, and that's what made me feel really unhappy. And it wasn't until I started working with my manager, my life coach, my co-host on my Love You channel.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't until he helped me realize that I was really unhappy and that I don't have to live that life anymore.
So you weren't
And that,
happy in your own skin.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't happy in my own skin, and I was trying to accept something that I could change if I
Yeah.
wanted it to. But I felt like I couldn't change it because I've tried all these years and nothing ever worked.
Sure. And
And
what you're
sorry.
speaking of is you decided to have the gastric bypass surgery, much to the disappointment of your your following, your fans, because you're their crusader.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, Ashley.
Oh, a lot. And the happiness didn't start after that. There was a lot of sadness still that I had to go through. And it
Sure.
wasn't until I had to go through a couple relationships, months of therapy to, and maybe go through a pandemic to realize that, like, this is what happiness is, because
Yeah.
can eliminate the things that are making me unhappy. And I'm the only person who has control over my life, my body, and my happiness. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
just
that's
changing.
a great place to be at your age. You know, um, self-love is a lifelong journey. You know,
It is. It is.
you
I'm
think you've
still going
mastered
through
it
the
and then something
process.
else hits you and it's like, okay, so it and I think it's important for us all to realize through this journey there it's just continuing levels of mastery. Um, because sometimes you talked about breakups. How did that affect what you were going through? Because you've first of all, you're trying to make yourself happy,
Yep.
and then you're trying to please everyone else who has supported you and has cheered you on, and you know they're looking up to you. So now you've got that pressure on you. And then you're trying to have love in your life. And then what happens?
You feel like your world is crumbling on you and you just like don't want to exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel like you don't want to deal with it anymore, and you just feel like I just want to go to sleep and I don't want to deal with this. But sometimes you just have to rip that band-aid off,
Yeah.
because there's you can't get even worse from that point. It's like this is it.
Sure.
You just got to do what you have to do, meaning like let that relationship go, and you
Yeah.
can only go up from there. There's like the sadness can't get even more.
Sure.
um this last breakup that I had, that I talk about on my Love You show, was something hard for me to even get to courage to do it. And then when I did it, It was this weight that slowly came off the more and more I started realizing how much I let this person control my life or allow me to not feel valued, or I just realized all the things I was missing, and that the weight just started coming off. Like, wow, I feel so much more freer. I felt like, yes, I miss this person. Yes, I thought I had a future with this person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew when I was in that relationship that I deserved so much. And thinking that I was going to stay with this was scary. And I was like, no, how do I get out? How? You
Sure.
know, I'm thinking about the other person. I'm thinking about the life that we've created here. I'm thinking about we live together. How do I just, abandon this person?
And how
Um,
long ago had you how long ago has this break was this breakup?
about 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, so
Oh, this
fairly
is
new.
fresh,
Yeah.
fresh. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh
It was
man, I'm so sorry. So you're still in some form of fashion grieving in the midst of a pandemic?
yes, but I'm okay, honestly. I
Yeah,
just needed a week, and that was it.
yeah,
Everyone let me cry, everyone let me talk about it, everyone just let me be in my sadness, and I thanked everyone for that. I mean,
yeah.
not me. I didn't let anyone know through social media or anything like that. It was just personal people around me, and,
Do you
then I
find
knew
that to be hard, Ashley, as a with a public persona to, have some sense of privacy when something, like this happens?
I think because I've always been a private person and I've always been limited of how much I put on social media,
Okay.
it's because I don't think it's anyone's business.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking for approval. I'm not seeking for um I don't want people like I'm not trying to get people to feel sorry for me or
Mhm.
anything like that. So that's a reason why I don't share a lot of things is because I feel like that's the reason why people share sometimes is to get something in return for it.
Sure.
Um, so when I do share things, I just share it because I want to, and I don't really have anything besides thinking, okay, Ashley, your audience wants to see this. Your audience wants to
Sure.
feel like they're with you. And so ever since we did launch the YouTube channel, I've been trying to be a little bit more present on social media just because I know I'm a business owner and I want people to also feel like they're included into this business and the growth and everything. But I'm always so focused on what's in front of me and my baby. It's my work. So um social media for me is new, and just trying to be more hands-on is a learning experience for me
Sure.
still.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, so here we are
Yes.
in the midst of this pandemic that is not over.
No.
It is
We
not.
don't know when it's going to be
We
over.
don't know because, we're going to talk about the one thing that people should be wearing.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how you're very pivotal in that space. So you've decided you're not so you broke up 3 months ago, or three months ago, but prior to that, when did you decide, oh, I don't want to design right now?
Um I knew that I wanted to stop Can you hear me?
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I just
Yeah,
wanted to make
I
sure
hit the
you could
wrong
hear
screen.
me.
You know what? It's like this is This is a sign. I need a producer.
Oh, I know when you're trying to do it all.
Oh, girl.
Um,
So I apologize.
are
So
you okay?
you decided, let's reenact that.
When did I decide to quit designing?
Yes.
It was probably the last collection that I created on my own with my company. The thing is, I don't think people understand how hard and how many growing pieces there is when you're creating a collection.
Yeah.
And when it's one person, it takes more than one person to get a clothing line off the ground. There's so many moving pieces, and me trying to hold on to this and make sure that all of these pieces are produced correctly and everything, it just became so difficult that when I launched everything, it ended up not being what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? At the I at the end of the day, I feel like I'm competing with so many other designers that all I ever wanted to do was create a lane for us. And I feel like I already did that. And
Yeah.
I don't need to continue doing that if there's so many other people out there. Like I need to take my pride and put it to the side and realize that I'm drained. I've been pushing this for so long that I
Yeah.
don't want to continue putting things out there that I don't believe in, that I'm just putting it out there because I need to come out with the next season. Like it's exhausting and it's
Sure.
showing in my work, and I don't want to do this anymore right now. I
Yeah.
know there's going to be another time for me, but right now I
Yeah.
want to take a break and focus on something else that's going to fulfill me and love what I'm doing. I don't know if it was designing something else, but it still had to do with creating. I just
Yeah.
wasn't going to stop creating.
Yeah.
Um, so at that time, this was last year, at the end of last year. So I was kind of going into fall thinking, I mean, into winter, like, okay, what are we going to do? I don't really like 2020 is around the corner. Like, I have nothing planned. And I keep seeing everybody with their memes and their plans and their trips that they're going to take for 2020. And I felt like the biggest loser because I didn't have any plans or goals for 2020 but to drink more water and to maybe exercise a little bit more,
Yeah.
maybe make my bed in the morning. Like
Yeah.
literally that's all I had because I was so drained that I
Yeah.
didn't know what else, how to envision or how to create for me. So
You've been in overdrive for so long, it sounds like, until all you could do was muster enough energy to get a glass of water,
yeah,
with the amount of pressure as far as to create, and then decide that, you know, it's not up to your level of excellence. You know, what I want to also commend you on is being self aware. And I know it's not easy,
it's not.
but to decide to choose Ashley, everybody else, they gotta step to the side.
I
So
mean, I feel really blessed and lucky to have my co-host on my Love You show,
yeah,
Andrew, as a manager because everything that we talk about on my Love You show is everything that he taught me since the day we started working with each other, right when I got off of Project Runway. And to be learning all these things, it's what pushed me to want more for myself
yeah,
because at the end of the day, my designs reflect on how much money is coming into the business. And if these designs aren't good enough to keep the business going, then I don't have a next collection, you
yeah,
know? I'm not just sitting on money here. Like every penny that I make from this company goes straight back into this company.
yeah,
Does not go to me. I don't get to go and do all these shopping sprees. Like everything goes back into my business and make sure that I have a roof over my head and that I continue to stay healthy. Like So that was my goal, was trying to stay healthy
Yeah.
mentally. And then the pandemic was hitting in other countries, not ours yet. So we kind of saw that it hit China, and we were actually going to work with a company to design bridal and prom wear. I was like, okay, well, if I'm not gonna design plus size, like maybe I will design with another company and we'll make
Yeah.
gowns, because I've always loved that and I've always wanted to do that. And as they were going to go to their manufacturers in China, their their trip got canceled in December. So we felt like something was about to hit in China, and we don't like, it wasn't being talked about here in the US yet, this
No.
virus that was happening in China. And we're like, wow, your trip got canceled. Like, this is serious. And this is in December. So then the New Year's happens, and we start to hear more and more about these cases, and people are starting to freak out even more. And there's no um, rule yet about wearing masks. And um, me and my business, we felt like, what can we do to help people feel at ease, because the unknown is happening right now. Like,
Sure.
we don't know what's going to happen. We're all trying to figure this out. So we started posting positive messages of saying, like, we can't control what we can't control, and we can't know what we can't know, and all we can do is make sure that we are okay. Our mental health is more important than worrying about other people on social media or anything like that. And so we saw how much of a positive response that got, and we're like, what else can we do to help people in feeling safe? Why not create face masks? And so we started creating face masks, not thinking any that our business would change to that. We were just trying to help some people out, and also help hospitals and people on the front lines.
Yeah.
And then we started seeing how everything started shutting down immediately, day after day.
Yeah.
Um, Products to make masks were being sold out. Um, Stores are starting to close up. So I couldn't get any supplies for everything. We saw that this was now becoming our business, and we had to really find places that were still open and still available to sell to us through a pandemic that was happening, and still be safe. I was traveling to LA just to buy fabric and elastic while a pandemic was happening, and trying to be safe. And oh, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
My parents lost their jobs, my friends lost their jobs, family members, and I hired all of them to come and work for me to make masks. So while people were sleeping and staying home from work, I've been working since day one. I have not stopped working. I didn't
Wow.
have a real COVID experience like everyone else. Mine was like just trying to make masks as much as we can, working 7 days a week, maybe 12 to 15 hours a day. Like, it was crazy, but I loved it. I almost felt like that little break that I had during the winter and some of the fall, or some of the winter in the beginning of the year, like, that's what I needed. And
Yeah.
then it's like I went full force and was working every day on something that I absolutely loved. Like, I went to school to learn about production and how it works and how to make an assembly line. And it was just really great to be able to give other people jobs and to also be providing masks for people.
Wow. So where are you originally from?
San Diego.
Okay, so you're in California. Do you live
Yep.
in California now? So
Yep, still in San Diego.
yeah, which is a beautiful city. It is
It
gorgeous.
is.
Um, and it seems like our I'm in Michigan, and it just seems
Okay.
like different. Yeah, we don't know. It's like the numbers surge, the numbers, come back down.
We
And the problem is nobody wants to wear a mask. I don't want to get political, but it's like Just wear the dang on mask, you
I
know?
don't understand how this virus has become political when this is a real living virus that is still killing people or still um attacking people.
Yeah,
I mean, people are still getting this virus and we still haven't have a vaccine for it. I mean, I just think it's ridiculous that
yeah.
people don't wear them. It's not just because I make them. I hate wearing them.
Girl,
We
you
all
too.
hate wearing them.
And
We
yours are
don't.
gorgeous.
Thank
Are
you.
beautiful. So, I get it. Oh my God. But I know that I have to wear it because I'm not only protecting myself, but I'm paying it forward and protecting someone else, hoping that someone else will do the same with my family members and friends. I mean, it's just kind of like a no-brainer. Um,
Yeah.
Social distance, all of that. Just do all of that. Some of the other things like washing your hands, you probably should have been doing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
I mean, I just honestly feel like this virus has shown United States how disgusting we are. Like we sh-
disgusting and not
we should have always been washing our hands. We should always be cleaning the surfaces of
yeah,
everything. I just think it really took our hygiene up a next step.
yeah,
Like we got to be clean. We got to like germs have always been existing.
yeah.
Viruses has always been around. It's just that there's this one that we don't know how it comes up. Like it's just yeah.
So you've got this pivot.
Yeah.
You find passion in this pivot, creating mask, employing your family. So, you've got that sense of accomplishment
Yeah.
where you're able to do that and reinvigorate your creativity from a different place. It's still designing, but something in creating is still
Yeah.
the core things that your core talent and gifts, but you're in this space and
Yeah.
then you decide, hey, let's start a YouTube show.
Yes. Yes.
Talk about
We
that.
we hit a certain goal that we personally wanted in our business that would allow me to step away from the mass business once a week. Like being a business owner, you have to be able to juggle your time. And if you
Yeah,
want to create a new business, you have to be able to juggle all of it. So me and my business being at a place where it was okay for me to be able to step away from one day and film this YouTube show. And we already have all the work and the material that we want to teach. We just need to get in front of the camera and film it. So, me and my manager, Andrew, have no experience with editing or filming videos. So, we were able to find this an amazing videographer who understood what it is that we wanted to do
yeah,
and made the process easy. Like literally, we just tell him, turn on the camera. Me and Andrew do our thing. It's like we've been doing this for years, but we actually, before the pandemic hit, we were already teaching this class in front of a group of people in our studio. But
sure,
then when the pandemic hit, we had to stop and we didn't see any growth going anymore in our Love You class. So we felt like, you know what, because we're going through this pandemic, and I think more than anything, this is a time for us to be able to self reflect and realize what we need in life. And that's more self love, self acceptance, and self care.
sure.
Because this pandemic is teaching us to appreciate what we have right now. And if we are not happy, what do we do to make ourselves happy? Because we can't rely on anyone or anything to make us happy. It's only us. So I really felt like, okay, if everyone's at home, everyone's on YouTube, why don't you just watch the Love You channel
Yeah,
and learn something? It's only 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. We try to keep each lesson really short.
sure.
That's why it's so easy for us to film it, because there's not a lot of cuts that our videographer has to do or anything. It's just literally me and my manager, my co-host, having a raw, candid, unapologetic conversation. And it's about my life experiences and his life experiences, and how we had to change our thinking in order to be able to get what we want in life, and not expect other people to bring us happiness, or to fulfill that need that we need in our lives. So by filming this YouTube channel
Yeah,
and being at the highest and being so happy with my business,
yeah,
so happy and doing something different, I
yeah.
find out that my partner of 3 years is cheating on me. Wow, my business is at its highest. I'm so happy. These things are happening behind my back
Your partner of how long?
for 3 years.
For three. Girl, so
Yeah.
you've been,
So while I was busting my ass doing all these things to try to save one person at a time with the mask, my partner's doing this to me.
betrayal.
Yeah.
Good.
So the fact that that was happening, and the moment I found out, I told him to get out of my house, pack your stuff up, and just get out. And this person told me they didn't have anywhere to go. And I said, let this be the last thing that I do to you, or let this be the last thing I do for you. So I bought him a ticket back home where he's from, and a hotel for the night. And I said, I just need you out of my
You
house,
gotta go.
because you gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
you don't do this to me. You
Oh,
don't.
baby.
So that right there was one of the most hurtful things.
Yeah.
But to be able to have the power to get him out was the most fulfilling thing that I ever need in my life.
Oh my God, girl.
To
Just,
be able to have the power to get out, no, I'm not going to take you back. No, I'm not listening to your lies. No, you cannot manipulate me into thinking that
oh,
I'm in the wrong. Like, to be able to have that power was what I needed to be able to get through this relation, to get out of it, and to
absolutely.
deal
Do
with the
you
breakup.
do you think it just sounds very um kind of alchemistic, if I can use that word, where it all worked really in your favor. You had the show, but it sounds like the show, you was a catharsis, as
Yeah, it just
kind of building you up in the process for something that you didn't even really think you needed until until this presented itself.
exactly.
Because a lot of people they take folk back, and it's like, no, it's like, okay,
No.
you gotta go, you got to go now.
As much as it hurt to see all these things,
Sure.
and not in disbelief, and like didn't want to deal with it, because I was just like, oh my gosh, no, this can't be true. And then him telling me all these lies and trying to make up for it, I was like, wait, I'm not the crazy one here.
Girl,
This isn't right.
how old are
uh,
you,
29.
baby? You I will say this, you have a very, I don't want to say old soul.
It's okay, because I believe I do.
Okay. Okay, I didn't want to offend you, but
Oh
you know,
no.
you do.
Yeah,
There is a quality in your voice, I hear. See, because saying goodbye, it's not easy, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
You can still love someone and release them. That's where people get, you know, confused about
Yeah.
letting somebody go. It's like, oh, no, 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 because the feelings don't turn off. But I know one thing, my self-respect is intact. So,
Yeah.
and I know I know it's still painful for you. I know you're okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you're okay, but
Thank you. Thank you.
it's I appreciate you sharing, and this is nothing that you haven't shared on
Yeah,
your
publicly.
publicly on Love You, but to talk about it and to keep talking about it, somebody needs to see it and hear it and
Yeah.
know that they can do the same thing.
Exactly, because before the night before all this happened, I was telling myself, like, please God, like, if this person isn't for me, please just give me the sign that I need. And I'm not
Yeah,
very religious. I didn't grow up, neither side of um neither my parents were in the church.
yeah.
So
But you're
all I had,
spiritual. You can still be
yeah, that's
spiritual.
all I felt like. I was like, if I can just talk to God and just, ask him, like, hey, if this person who I'm in love with, if he's not for me, please show me the signs. Please tell
Well,
me, like, and that was the sign. Um
yeah, yeah,
I'm I'm guilty of searching through someone's phone, but I had never searched in their phone until then because I had given them so much trust.
yeah.
And the moment that I go through their phones, I find everything. And I already knew going through this person's phone I was gonna find something. But in the back of my head, I was like, no, but I have trust. Like, I have trust that he's not doing anything wrong. And I couldn't keep having that trust when there were these red flags constantly appearing that made me feel like, he could be lying. But no, I don't want to jump to, like, making any conclusions or anything like that. So, um I think God had let me feel it in my gut that something wasn't right. And so that's what led me to,
When you felt it in your
searching.
gut, was that the moment you decided you were going to confirm it by looking through his phone?
The red flag, or something alarming had happened the night before, where he typed in the code into his cell phone, and I was like, why does it always change? It's not like I'm going through his phone.
Yeah,
Why does he always have to change his code if I'm not going through his phone? He thinks I'm going through it, but I'm not.
sure.
So then I watched him put that code in, and the next morning I was like, he's still asleep. Let me grab his phone. And my
Yeah,
heart was beating so fast, because I knew I was doing something wrong and I didn't want to do it. But I ended up doing it because the information that I knew that I needed to confirm that this relationship was going to be over was the fact seeing other text messages with other women. And this is something that I haven't personally or publicly talked about.
sure.
Um, but yeah, just seeing
You
the
said you
text.
haven't publicly talked about?
No, because
So this is exclusive?
exclusively just for you.
No, and
Because
I let me say this. I am not the gossip
I
type
know you're not.
journalist. I'm just saying, but I'm glad you could feel comfortable with me to talk about it because someone needs to hear it. Do
Yeah.
you regret doing that?
And that's why I say it. I don't say it in, like, wanting compassion or anything for it. I say it because you might be in the same situation and that
Yeah,
person might make you feel guilty for you going through their phone, but that's because that's reverse manipulation. Like, yeah, I went through your things, but it's because you're being really secretive, and we've had these conversations about doing this exact thing and you did it again.
yeah,
And the fact that you were planning multiple times to meet up with these other women who are in our proximities, and then some of them were not, and
Did
you
you
were
know some of these women?
no,
No? Okay.
I don't I honestly don't even know their names.
Okay.
I just saw a glimpse of pictures of them,
Okay.
and I said, "If this is what you're cheating on me with, then go have it,
Yeah.
because I know that I deserve way better than this."
Trust me,
And
when
if
you
that's
find out, it's like the world stops.
it stopped. I didn't even know
And
what
it's
to
like,
I wanted to go and choke him in his sleep, and I told
baby,
him that. When
I
I woke him up,
know.
I was like, "You're so lucky I'm not gonna beat the shit out of you, but
Yes.
I just want you to know this is not acceptable. I don't tolerate this, so get your stuff and get out of my house because we're not together. I'm not doing this anymore. I've given you all my trust, and you've stomped on it. You've lost it."
Yeah. My girl says, oh, she's got a whole world. She's got a whole world. No, she's got a whole word tonight. In other words, you taking us to church. We go, but this is a message as a young woman, you know, your age, uh, 29, 39, 49, it can happen to anyone. It can happen to the best of us. We can have so
Yes.
many things going on and, have it going on. Let's like, wait a minute. You are Ashley Nell Tipton. Excuse me.
Right? I'm just supposed to be a designer, but
Yeah, but
no,
I'm
I have
telling
all
you,
this
that's
other
the thing. You are an accomplished woman, a good woman. You just employed your whole family. So that
yeah,
tells me you have a heart
yeah,
and you have an evolved soul where you are doing the inner work, to become more self-aware, to become more loving, you know,
yeah,
and you're not doing it from your own point of reference. You've got help. You're surrounding yourself with people, Andrew, who
yeah,
is very integral to your growth and you loving yourself and making these kinds of decisions because you could have done this and continue for another year,
yeah.
wasting the pretty. So, but
Most
so,
definitely.
so, let's, you're on your journey. That's the best way, it's so fresh and the tears are gonna come and they should.
Yeah,
You invested 3 years of your life with someone that you thought you were going to build a life with, so it's justifiable. But
yeah,
you're on your journey. This is, and you've probably heard it. It's like you're so young, but God, nobody wants to spend the rest of their lives being cheated on either, but
yeah. No, definitely. I
yeah,
just think it's all a learning experience. I don't
yeah,
regret any
yeah,
of it. I think that if anything, this teaches me more of what I want. Like I thought I knew what I wanted, but no.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
or it really um test me my limits, and practice being vocal to your partner about what it
yeah.
is that you want. And yeah, it's just all great practice that I'm just
I
enjoying the process.
One of the things that I absolutely love, this was something, like you, I had relaunched Life and Style with Francine from home and not being, and being able to connect with people from all over the world. It has been a pleasure to talk to you
Thank you.
because I feel your teacher is everybody and anybody. They can be 29, they can be 39, they can be 9. Um,
Yeah.
and you've definitely did what we set out to do. When I was teasing the show, I said she's
Mhm.
finding true love through self-love.
Yeah.
And that essentially has been what your journey is showing us, in this glimpse of time that we have right now, how can one, where can we can, so this is YouTube, so we can just go to YouTube and find the Love
Yes.
You Show, right?
Yes. So
That's your,
you'll
that's
type
your
in
name.
Ashley Nell Tipton on
Okay.
YouTube, and you will find my channel on there. And
Okay.
under my channel, you will find the Love You Show, where you'll be able to binge watch all 8 episodes that we have already.
Okay. And then we can, and so we can also, and then we can follow you on IG at Ashley Nell Tipton.
Yes, or Designer Ant.
Okay.
On Twitter, I believe. Yeah. So I have 2 Instagrams. I have my personal, where you get to follow along me in the studio. And then you have my design page, where we still show my clothing designs and my face mask as well.
Wow. I feel encouraged and inspired
Aww.
to be more loving towards myself. Definitely. First of all, I'm already good on. Nope, you gotta go.
Right?
That's
Self-love is in
that's
many,
a
many
confirmation.
different places.
You're so mean, Fran. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm loving towards myself, but I'm not mean. You're not, you're doing what's best for you, and that is to be commended. And just hang in there, girl.
I
You
think
got
we've
this.
all internalized being selfish a bad thing.
Come on.
It's not bad.
No.
Selfish is just knowing your limits, your values, knowing you are enough.
Yeah.
I think I've had to learn how to appreciate that word a little bit more, selfish, and also learn that fat is not a bad word, you know? I do not allow people's opinions to carry on so much weight on the word fat, if that makes sense. I've
Girl.
allowed people call me fat all my life, and I've allowed that to hurt me. But I don't. I take pride in that word. I take pride in fat, bitch, selfish, bossy, diva. I love all those words.
Sure. Yeah. And so basically you took your power back by redefining what those words meant for you.
Yeah.
And isn't that really what all we can do?
Yeah.
Whatever that labels we have to decide the labels, because a lot of times the person using those labels, they're they're dealing with some things, and they don't have power.
Yeah, they don't. We've just been taught that, like, to be fat is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But realistically, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's just a word.
Yeah.
There's no meaning, there's no opinions, there's nothing to it. It's just that we've been brought to have an opinion behind every word.
Absolutely.
So
And
once we let go of those opinions,
yeah.
it will be more freeing.
Yeah. And I had to learn that as you've learned and as you're learning, because remember we said self-love is a journey, and there's levels to this mastery of self-love.
Yeah.
I had to learn. It's like, wait a minute. I be dang gone if I'm going to let anyone's opinion of me rank higher than me.
Yeah.
Me. I was like, wait a minute, how that is power in and of itself, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it might not hurt at times, but it's like, well, because we're human. But it's like, wait a minute, let me redirect that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Man, wow.
Thank you for this therapy moment. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for sharing. It's gonna be all right, girl.
Of course
It's
it
gonna be all
is. Of
right.
course.
And we can, and I did see the mask on your website. You got one? Now, which one is that?
This is our power vote mask. So
Hey,
this has the three fists here for women
yeah,
and vote.
yeah.
So making sure that to let everyone know that our votes count and we have to vote. Like there's no excuses.
No,
And
no,
then we have RBG. What
yeah,
is her speak your voice even if it shakes? This has been a quote with me ever since I was on Project Runway. Like I was
yeah,
like, I have to let my voice be heard, even if it cracks or shakes or shivers, or if I'm crying, I don't care. You have to say what you need to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Wow. Somebody says, awesome interview. She is so inspiring. Hey,
Oh, thank you.
thank you, ladies. So yeah, it's gonna be all right. We
It is. We
we
all
got
are going to
we
be
got
all
so
right.
many things we have to focus on that like voting right now, and
It's one of our jobs as a citizen here to, if you want to have an opinion about what is happening in our world, in our politics, and our laws, then you need to vote.
yeah,
If you don't vote, then you can't have an opinion about who is our president and our laws and how things are happening in our world.
yeah,
So
yep, you
it's
gotta,
our duty.
yeah, it's our duty. So have you voted yet? Are you doing
I
early?
did.
You did?
I
Okay,
I
I'm going
did.
tomorrow. I'm voting tomorrow.
Perfect.
They called me. I used to get mad when I got, but I said, you know what? Keep calling. Keep texting me because that means you're texting everybody else to impress upon them to vote.
Yes,
So
yes,
they told me I could
exactly.
go right to the my city clerk's office, fill out
Perfect.
the whole, fill out the ballot, and because it's like, of course it's too, I wasn't going to mail mine anyway because I didn't even trust the postal system. So
True.
yeah, but thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
We know that we're just happy to see you pivot in a way that is pleasing and passionate for you,
Thank you.
where you honor yourself, because fans and followers, or whatever you want to call them, and I don't mean it that way, but it's like
Of course not. Yeah.
they will follow suit because they're not on the same journey, but they can
Yeah.
be inspired by your journey as we
Of
are.
course. And
Yeah,
that's what drives me to continue doing the work that I do, is knowing
yeah,
that there is people following behind me. They might not be in the same situation, they might not be the same color, size of me, but none of that matters.
no,
It's what feels right for you and what you feel connected and related to.
yeah,
Um so
yeah,
hearing people's story and seeing how people are encouraging me to stay strong and tell me that they've been in this situation or they're going through it right now,
yeah,
it encourages me to continue being authentic and
yes.
want to share my story. And because
And that's all
it's
people want,
hard.
Ashley. People
I
want
know.
you, especially on social media, they want you to be consistent, uh, honest, authentic. That's,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
and truthful. It's like they want you to be relatable. And sometimes, you might not like everything that they might not like everything that we do, but at the same time, we're being true to ourselves. And that is inspiring to someone else, that's trying to be true to themselves. So you're on your way, girl. It's like
thank
you've
you.
got good people around you to help you push forward. Thank you so much for being a guest on Life and Style with Francine, and we wish you well. Uh,
Thank you.
and just hang in there, girl, and keep doing
Of
what you're doing.
course.
You know, if
Thank you
it
so
ain't broke,
much.
don't fix it.
Right.
There.
Thank you so much, Francine, and thank
You're
you for
welcome, honey.
everyone who's been watching our live on
Yes,
Facebook. I
they've been tuning in. I shared some of the comments. They have been, and it's
Perfect.
available on the replay as well. So
And I
thank
hope they can go and watch the Love You
yes,
show.
yes, go
Binge watch it right now every
yes.
Friday at 2 p.m.
So you
Pacific
every
time it
Friday at
comes
2 p.m.
out.
We got to make sure. Yes, love you. We Ashley Nell Tipton search box YouTube.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Yes, we definitely got to do that. Thank you so much, honey. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye bye. Well, thank you for tuning in. Wow, what an amazing woman. Before I close the show, just such a mature woman, young woman. She said, "Get out of here. You got to go." And you know what? She did just right. So you can check out her Love You show on YouTube. Like I said, she said, Ashley Nell Tipton, just go to the YouTube search box. And of course, as always, you can, if you like to be a guest on my show, you can go to lifeandstylewithfrancine@gmail.com and drop us a message. And also follow us on Instagram at Francine Walker TV. You can like my Facebook page, Life and Style with Francine. And I also have a YouTube page, Francine Walker. Just put in Francine Walker in the search box and you will see all of my interviews. I think it's about 52 to be exact. I'm kind of proud of that. So we're going to keep going and we're going to keep having conversations with people from the ordinary to the extraordinary, just conversations where we're encouraging, inspiring, and allowing people to know that you matter, you are loved, you are important. Almost sound like the Help, don't I? Viola Davis. But yes, you do matter. And thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your support. We're continuing to grow. And you know what? I'm just excited. I'm excited about the future of Life and Style with Francine, and it's all because of you and your support. So thanks again. It is Wednesday. Yes, it is Wednesday. So you know what? We got 2 more days until the weekend, and I'll see you guys soon. Talk to you. Mwah.